And back at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, thank you for joining us wherever you are, right across Australia, as we come to the second half of the Coca-Cola State of Origin, number 2. And what looked like it was going to be a landslide victory for New South Wales has seen Tom Raudonikis become quite intense and I would imagine quite concerned at this Queensland comeback. 14 points to 10 then. We come down to the second 40 minutes and Geoff Toovey is on his way back, hoping to resume like they did in the first half when McGuinness was in after 3 minutes. Whenever I see Billy Moore coming up out of the tunnel, I just hesitate, but he's not giving us the Queenslander tonight. Kosef at the 21st, Dimmick at the 26th. Simon got 1 from 3. Queensland seeing at the 34th, O'Davis at the 38th. They started their resurgence late in the first half. And we've got a ball game. 14 to 10. The forwards were great. None more busier than Mark Carroll.
They've been great again, Mark Carroll and Paul Harrigan. Workaholics, featuring in both the tackles and the hit-ups. Kosef has played well, apart from scoring the try. Really, they've been well served by all of their forwards. They've spread things around fairly evenly. Quite surprised Dean Pay probably hasn't got more game time tonight. Billy Moore has been marvellous. Despite the fact he's scouting out wide, he still leads the tackle count. That's no surprise, along with Gary Larson. But I do think both Neil Tierney and Craig Smith have grown in stature the longer that this game has gone.
Paul Vaughton with a spring in the step. He's entitled to be confident of that man, the way they came back. What did he say? I'm in a calm mood because I expect to win and win comfortably. It hasn't been that comfortable so far. Will he be proven right as we go into the second stanza? And Dimmick, one of the New South Wales try scorers, playing the ball. First set of 6 in the new half, and the breeze fractionally behind New South Wales for this second 40 minutes as Carroll plays it on the second. Toovey runs a few paces, links up with Harrigan, and Harrigan has put down 37 metres away from his line. Toovey keeps it going on the left of the ground for Kosef this time. Kosef able to unload. Toovey comes back, looking for runners on his right. They were going the other way, Brasher in particular. He's a dummy half as they go left for Carroll now to complete the tackle count on this one. They're just 7 or 8 metres into Queensland's area, trailing by 4 points, the Maroons. The kick is up and coming back down in the in goal for Dallas, who'll have to bring it back. He's got some work to do. He's got the pace on his side. Can he make it? Can he make it? Yes, he can. Dallas gets it back for the Maroons. O'Davis is there to bring it away.
Every right to get an ovation from the bench there too, Brett Dallas. It looked as though he had too much work to do. I had a question mark on the chasers for New South Wales. But those kind of little incidents in a match can change the course of a game.
This is Clinton O'Brien. Back. They came off the feet of the dummy half. No knock on. Lamb then. Away for Jason Smith to give it back for Lamb. And he's been in everything, Adrian Lamb, tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a very important 40 minutes in the career of Adrian Lamb. He must know, with all due respect to his teammates, the Queensland State of Origin prospects rely on him. He really has to get into the game. He knows that he's the one that's going to have to execute the plays, and I really believe he's up to it at this stage.
So New South Wales coming away off their own 20-metre line. This is Ken McGuinness, who was over the line for a sensational try 3 minutes into the game. He thought all his birthdays had come at once, and he's only had, I think, 21 of them. Now Toovey approaching the halfway line. Kosef with a short ball. Muir was there to support, and then Toovey likewise before Simon. And Simon is there and pulled down. Trevor Gilmister on the sideline. What can you tell us from the Queensland sheds?
Well, Fatty said, as we said earlier, not to go too wide too early. Make the yards first and then go wide. And I suppose the worst thing for Queensland was the half-time break, because they're all over him towards the end of that first half.
Now we've got a problem with Jim Dimmick as O'Davis again came out of that exchange on top, and this is O'Neill flirting with the sideline. He's submitted, and plays it on the 30-metre line.
I think that's an important substitution for Queensland. Julian O'Neill going to left centre. Stuart Kelly was in awful trouble against Paul McGregor, and Julian O'Neill, being a named player, will just put Paul McGregor on notice.
On the 40-metre line. And this is O'Brien. Met by Kosev. One-on-one. Head on. Good stuff. Then from Goddard. Into the hands. And then onto the boot of Ben Ikin. And he kicks on the far side of the ground. Turning Brasher around. Did well in the deep, Brasher. And then confronted by the flankers for the Maroons. And they're back inside their own 20-metre line, the New South Wales side, with Ainscough coming away. Steve Roach, what about the New South Wales sheds?
Well, Tom Rudonikas reminded the New South Welshmen that the Queenslanders will not lay down. He said their defence out wide is pretty ordinary. You've got to keep going there with numbers. They've had to do a lot of tackles too, so expect Jeff Tuvey to run a lot more from dummy half. He said don't fall into the trap of trying to force the footy early in the tackle count. That was their biggest problem in the last 10 minutes of the first half.
Well, you just saw two big men come together, Harrigan and Larson. Larson has gone limping away from making the head-on tackle. The last now for the Blues. And Simon puts it out on the full. That'll give the Queenslanders a good shot at them.
Jim Dimmick leaves the field, and Matt Sears, the utility player from North Sydney, gets some game time now. That'll mean a reshuffling in the New South Wales lineup as Queensland, through Jamie Goddard, take it over the 40-metre line, centre field.
That offload, there's Clinton O'Brien hobbling away. I think Gary Larson would like to have done the same, but they can ill afford to be without him. And even in the pain from that injury I described, he was able to get that ball away for Goddard. Now Lamb, and Lamb sets himself to turn it back on the inside, something that Phil Gould thinks they've got to do more of. Jason Smith playing it, Goddard sweeping it, Lamb running it straight ahead and pulled down there in a confrontation with Brasher. The Queensland side is 10 metres away from the line as Jason Smith gets a floating pass away for Dallas. He's over! Dallas is in! Fortin goes up, the Queenslanders go up, and it's 14 all.
All the Redheads are up. Jason Smith, a good ball out to Brett Dallas, but he's got to do it all himself, Dallas. What about the in and out? Totally bamboozled his opposite man. Marvellous work, Adrian Lamb. He just reminded the defence that he can run the football. He doesn't have to pass it. And now as Jamie Ainscough comes up, Brett Dallas, so strong, such good evasion. He puts one on his opposite man. Jason Smith, he was concussed in the first half. That's a plus for Borton, that he can come back out and play some sort of role in the remainder of the game. But Brett Dallas, he was given the ball in a pressure situation and he's come up trumps.
Yeah, the key for this is the fact that Queensland now carry two ball players in their side. Adrian Lamb, New South Wales, he turned the ball inside on one play, ran it forward very quickly on the next play, and the relaxation in the New South Wales defence says, well, right, we've put pay to him. Suddenly Jason Smith bobs up on the short side. The defence is caught napping, and that's the beauty of having ball players in your team. It's not necessarily the key man that's going to do it, but he can create the space and the time and the field position for the next man to take over. And Jason Smith put the ball in the hands of probably the quickest and most dangerous player on the field. He did the rest. And Julian O'Neill, what a season it's been for him. He gets a chance to sneak the Queenslanders in front.
What are the odds, Ravi?
From there,
Mate.
for Julian, he's very unpredictable.
Yes, you're right.
Mate, I'll bet you 6-4 if you want it. Here he is from near the touch line. He's way off line. You can have 5-2 now. Let's take a break. Look at this one. 14 points all from the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Sit down, Paul. It's quite okay. You've got all of Queensland barraging for you. And then some. Those snakes.
Snakes will bite you. Snake, it's all the same.
It's a snake-a-thon as Queensland bring it away on this new set of 6.
We've had 48 minutes in the game, and I think
14 points all. Yes, Phil, you were saying. Just inside the touch line, McGregor's tackle pulling Ben Ikin down. We'll stay with it, Phil. We'll come back to you as Tierney crosses the 40-metre line. Now, Goddard coming back down the left of the ground. They've got a smell of success in their nostrils as Billy Moore is pulled down. 28 metres away from the line. Aiken, and there's the kick across the ground, and no pressure, it appeared out there as Ainscough pulls it down. Chase just didn't arrive quickly enough, which makes me ask the question whether the communication was there from Aiken to those outside three quarters.
Well, we'll get something from the bench, I'm sure, from Steve Roach or Trevor Gilmister, but Adrian Lamb has left the field. Stuart Kelly is back into the game.
Steve Roach, just on Jim Dimmick, what's the story there?
Yeah, it's a strained medial ligament, but he'll be back. They're strapping up now, and Adrian Lamb is probably going into the shed now for a needle. He's got a crook ankle.
There's the running repairs for Jim Dimmick, I think it was, as the last tackle sees the Blues put in a towering kick. Now Matt Singh and Robbie O'Davis bringing it back. Matt Sears was one. Oh, that's a very good tackle. Adam Muir. Tremendous tackle. Now, just inside their own 30-metre line, Billy Moore chiming in. There's a lot of work to be done. O'Davis is not well. O'Davis is sick for the Queenslanders now. Now a penalty. Oh, gee, they needed it.
It's a pretty good run there. Really ate up the metres quickly, did Craig Smith, and he caught Paul McGregor out. A disdainful look to the referee from the big Illawarra centre. Ben Aiken, he comes up with a very good kick with little angle to work with.
Through that penalty count. As Queensland come away with 6 tackles, if they want them.
O'Davis is crook, all right. He's just come up and got the ball as soon as possible.
Well, let me tell you, the O'Davis I was looking at 1 minute ago was very sick and sorry. Now Jason Smith decides to go himself. And there's a knock on, so the pressure valve comes off the Blues. 14 points all. 50 minutes of the game gone. No need for Jason to contemplate running it himself at the moment. He's the man that can spark something in the absence of Adrian Lamb. O'Davis playing at half-back now. So Sears can run 100 metres and score a try. Can make a try out of nothing. Kosef is put away. 25 metres away from his own line. 14 points all in State of Origin 2. As Adam Muir bangs it ahead and the penalty goes against the Queenslanders.
Bang, here it is. It's not up there, it's here.
Inside the 10, says David Manson. What an incredible turnaround. We were getting the slippers ready. Heading for the nuptial couch at 14-0.
You know, New South Wales have got to stem the tide here. They haven't had much field position early in the game. In the last 25 minutes of the game, Queensland have hammered their way back into it. And New South Wales, who are going along free and easy, throwing the ball from side to side, now find themselves with a line in the sand drawn. 14-all with 28 minutes to go. They've really got to settle down and control the ball for a while and get some field position.
Nick Kosef will play it. 35 metres away from the Maroons line. From Simon, they go for Menzies out wider. And we haven't seen a lot of Steve Menzies with freedom. Now Brashow tries to hurt them. Terry Hill is tackled 20 metres away from the Queensland line. Now with McGregor. Oh, he loses it. And then Simon appears to... Oh, he said play on! He said play on!
Tackle.
What a tackle that was!
Kelly
it was
on
Stuart
six.
Kelly! Now, Simon! They're waving on the right of the ground! McGregor! McGregor! I don't think he's got it down! He's held up in goal!
Well, I'm still amazed at the decision by the referee to call play on. I just thought it was a double knock on. McGregor, well, I guess that one's gone back in the referee's mind. Have a look at Stuart Kelly on Matt Sears. It's a corker. And this isn't far behind it either. Queensland, all hands on deck. 4 players.
Tremendous effort there by Matty Singh on the bigger man, McGregor. He gave him plenty of trouble in the first half offloading the ball, but he's come up with an absolute perler there to not only stop McGregor scoring the try, but lock it up and hold him up in the in goal.
Ben Ikin gets some attention. He gets back into combat. Let me go straight back to the knock-ons. You heard the inflection in my voice. Peter was amazed, but David Manson got them both right. Now, near the halfway line, we're on 5 for the Maroons. They need field position, and Ikin gets a kick in, and it's going to fine touch just outside the Blues' 20-metre line.
Yeah, good work from Benny Ikin. That'll just slow the game down, give his side a chance to take a breather before having to come up with a set of 6 defence. Queensland just a little bit disorganised, not only at attack because Adrian Lam has left the field, but in defence he was doing so much talking behind the line, and Robbie O'Davis has got to take up that slack now. He's really got to organise his forwards into position. Paul Wharton going for the water.
Trevor Gilmister, Matt Singh, his defence, a bit of deja vu.
Yeah, certainly, Ray. He held up about 3 or 4 tries in the 95 series. He's having a great game, and along with Robbie O'Davis, as we said before.
Oh, look at this. Tuvey was away, and then Billy Moore grabbed him by the shirt collar, held him down too long, and the penalty goes to the Blues.
Yeah, right from the scrum base, and this is where Queensland have got to be alert without Adrian Lam on the field. Robbie O'Davis there, caught napping, Billy Moore in the scrum. The communication in the scrum and around the rucks has got to be even more intense without Adrian Lam there to organise them.
Wayne Bartram about to come back into the game for the Queenslanders. 32 metres away from their line, the Blues again launching an attack. Menzies, 14 points all. 55th minute of the game as Tuvey sweeps it on the left. Simon away. Fairley then back for Simon. As Fairley gets poleaxed, it comes back to Sears. Sears for McGregor. McGregor runs into Schloss it is, and he's put down. They're 29 metres out in the centre of the ground. The Melbourne Cricket Ground hosting State of Origin 2. That looked like a knock-on from the Blues. Manson said play on, and they are with it now, 29 metres out from the line. From Tuvey for Simon, who angles across. He's very strong and can unload. Tackle number 5. Will they go to the air? No, Brasher, yes he does. Brasher came into the line, put the kick in, and then it was batted back into the field of play by McGuinness. And it's with Ben Ikin. I just had a question mark on McGuinness, where in fact he was. Was he in the field of play when he batted that ball back? Or did he leave the field of play to do it? Here's Coyne now. 17 metres away from his line as Harrigan goes to the bench, and Dallas will come away from dummy half. Talking about players running 100 yards, Dallas is just the sort of person to do that. And that was an excellent run. Now they put another one behind it. Goddard is tackled. 42 metres away from their own line at 14 points all. From Moore, away for Bartram. Bartram for Ikin. That's a forward pass. It was allowed to go as Kelly plays the ball just into Blues territory on the last. And Ben Ikin's kick is high, coming down to McGuinness. Oh, McGuinness has lost it, and Queensland will get it back.
Did have a little bit of a look there, Ken McGuinness. The game's starting to warm up now, both sides knowing what's at stake here. It was a good option. McGuinness just took his eyes off the football. The attention of Singh was enough for him to do that. Now a good deep back line set from this scrum for the Queenslanders. O'Davis feeds, and Lam has left the shed. He'll come back into the game shortly.
Keep an eye on Adrian Lam, Trevor. I think most Queensland supporters are wondering when he'll be back, the number 7 and captain. 23 metres out from the line. Can they score without him? Billy Moore lays on a short ball. The number 14 is Bartram. He'll play the ball back for Goddard. Goddard finds a running Neil Tierney. Tierney hit the brick wall. He's put down. That was a very good tackle by Dean Pay and Steve Menzies. Now O'Davis takes on the role of first receiver. Ikin goes across the park. That's Julian O'Neill. Oh my goodness, I thought he was going to go all the way. A metre from the line, Queensland with the dummy half pulled down. 5 tackles gone for them now. O'Neill sweeps it away. Ikin and goes to the air. It's not such a bad kick. McGuinness tested, and it'll go back to the 20-metre line for the restart.
No, it was too deep. Benny Ikin, he was under pressure, but he gave Ken McGuinness an easier catch at the football than he should have. O'Neill, he nearly slid straight through the centres.
I thought he was home, Julian O'Neill. Setting some kind of a record in rugby league tonight. And I see the number 7 getting ready, Steve Roach, to come back.
Yeah, it won't be long before he's back, but Julian O'Neill doing a magnificent job at fullback. He's moved back there. He's yelling himself hoarse. His experience will be invaluable in this second part of the second half.
45 metres out from the Queensland line then. The Blues are trying to wrap it up here tonight. They won by 8 points to 6 at Suncorp. It's 14 points all here. Will the rubber be alive at the Sydney Football Stadium in a fortnight? As John Simon's kick goes down to the try line for O'Davis to bring it back. And met and pulled down there by Menzies. No, it wasn't. It was, in fact, the 17, Matt Sears. Now, Matt Sears ran into the shoulder of Carroll, got the pass away. I don't know how, because the bells were ringing, and this is Larson, 30 metres out from his own line. Now Bartram, and unloading for Clinton O'Brien. He's done some good things when he's been out there, O'Brien. And then Goddard picking up Lamb, who's back on, and finds more bumps away from one, then unloads for Bartram for Lamb. Lamb back for Bartram away, and gee, that was good work there by Jeremy Sloss. Almost gave possession back. A touch of the Houdinis in Sloss there. 40-metre line, New South Wales' end, and here's the last tackle as Ikin puts it up in the air. Brasher's underneath it, and Brasher comes away off his own 10-metre line. Crosses the 20, and New South Wales there with 5 tackles, and it's Ainscough crossing the 30-metre line. Both Ainscough and Brasher ran a long way before finding the defence. Now Dean Pay. Now it's David Fairley, correction, on the 40-metre line. Forced back by the defence. Manson says let him play it. Tuvey. He's picked off by Mark Coy at marker.
Now's the time in the first game that Jeff Tuvey started to really make a dent from the dummy half position with his running. Queensland must be awake to that. They must be very strong around the marker area. Last tackle now, John Simon drives it down. Davis and Dallas drop back. Brett Dallas will pick up.
Probably couldn't kick it to a more dangerous player in he's lost the ball. Matt Sears takes it through on the boot. Matt Singh is there to clean it up. That could have been pulled down the curtain.
This will be a line drop out. It looked as though Matt Sears on Brett Dallas, one-on-one, had every right to take this football. In fact, it's John Simon who gets the play, falls out. Sears puts it on the boot. Matt Singh got in his road and took no chances at the end. He batted it over the dead ball line, a close thing.
I think he probably would have had to call a knock-on John Simon anyway.
Well, Matt Sears was offside if John Simon stripped the ball away from him. Matt Sears was in front of him.
Why not a penalty then?
Tremendous work by Matt Singh. I mean, Matt Sears is no slouch in the speed department, and Matt Singh realised the situation, got back there. This is a very, very important set of 6 in defence for Queensland.
So Bartram's drop kick into a slight breeze, just going 42 metres, and Harrigan, he goes charging back at Clinton O'Brien and young Goddard. Now it's with Dean Pay. Tries to get the pass around the corner. They shut him down. He's 20 metres out. And here comes Kosef again. Kosef, 18 metres away from the line. Playing it back for Tuvey. Now for Simon. Simon lets the decoy go before picking up Brasher. Menzies loses it. Queensland have got it.
Yeah, the New South Wales attack is stymied a little bit with Jim Dimmick's removal from the field. It's really up to Nick Kosef to eliminate himself from a forward role and get himself to second receiver and play a little bit of ball playing on the edge of the ruck. McGregor hasn't touched the ball since Jim Dimmick left the field.
62nd minute. Are you thinking of drop goal?
I'm starting to think drop goal, Ray. I think the next scorer in this game will win, whether it's 1 or 6. I love it. This is State of Origin now. This 62 minutes gone, 14 all, a series coming down. This is where we'll find the champions in the game, the players who can lift above the elite.
Clinton O'Brien underneath Tuvi's tackle, playing it back for Goddard to sweep it away. Jason Smith. You'd almost, I was about to say you'd almost bet long odds on that he'd try and touch, and he has, but just for a moment Tim Brasher had to cover it, had to shadow it.
I do think Queensland needed this too, Ray. We saw Ben Ikin find touch earlier when they needed a break, and again I think the Maroons, this breather as the scrum takes a while to be set, is exactly what the doctor ordered.
Adrian Lamb, he's been back now for about 5 minutes. Just on one passage there, I was wondering whether he had much freedom in that ankle. Clinton O'Brien's got a problem, that hamstring or thigh muscle heavily strapped. I doubt that we'll see him again.
Ray, I've got to give the coach a rap at this stage, Fatty Vaughton. He's handled his interchange on the big men extremely well. Clinton O'Brien's inhibited with injury. He's got big men in Tierney and Smith who are really floundering at the pace of this game, but the quick interchange is keeping them in it. And Paul Vaughton's doing he's doing everything he can for Queensland from the sideline.
Kosef tries to make a break down the short side. Some of these tackle counts are really getting high. Billy Moore has made 24 tackles as Tuvi appeals for what he thought might have been a dangerous tackle. They try and go down the blind side again. Now McGregor goes back before going forward. Picks up Muir. Muir able to unload the ball. Sears from a standing start is pulled down, and he'll be made to play the ball on 5. About 45 metres away from the Queensland line. Simon then. McGuinness on a run down the right flank. His kick is being covered by O'Davis, who takes it over the dead ball line.
Oh, tremendous ground there by Robbie O'Davis. He could have taken the odds to going out over the dead ball line, but he realised catching it on the full would also get them the 20-metre tap, and he really made some ground up quick. Simon on to McGuinness. McGuinness with the kick over the top. Will I wait to see it bounce? No. He stretches out, makes his ground, and backs his ability to come up with the catch.
Yeah, you're quite right. It was great foresight. 1, he had to be sure he was in the in goal. 2, he had to be sure the referee would rule that way. So he took the only available option, and that was to take it, I suppose, over the dead ball line and make a good thing of it. Play there by Wayne Bartram, and then away for Billy Moore out wide. And he's had the ball taken from him. So it's John Simon. It's the second time John has come up with possession off Queensland in the last 5 minutes, and quite legitimately. Menzies held on the 40-metre line. Kosef, and now for Dean Payne, and he's pulled down by Billy Moore in combination there with Jeremy Schloss and Craig Smith. Then Simon, now McGregor. Adam Muir held around the legs, got the ball away. Simon on, Sears is with it, and Matt Sears will play the ball 25 metres out, centre of the ground. Tuvi to the left, long ball for Kosef. Then a cutout pass on Harrigan. Menzies able to offload. Kosef wasn't expecting it. Lots of pass across. 6 more tackles, said the referee. Now it's double pressure for Queensland. Brasher will play the ball 12 metres out from the line. Tuvi from dummy half at his most dangerous. Then McGregor. McGuinness, he's begging him to come in. McGregor goes to ground 9 metres away from the line. Tuvi looking, and then offloading from Muir to take it towards the centre. Are they going to set John Simon up? He's right behind the play the ball. Tuvi.
I think they know a try's on, Ray.
Oh, it's been put down by Harrigan. So Queensland have weathered the storm.
I really felt that they were building up to a 4-pointer there, Ray, with the fact that they got another set of 6. Fatigue now starting to play its role in this match, and Paul Harrigan coming back inside from Dean Pay. He too had a look.
I think that was intelligent play from Jason Smith too. Harrigan knocked that ball on. Jason Smith could have fallen on it and secured possession for his team, but they were out on their feet. He said, I'll let them have it, we'll take the scrum, have a rest, and then get a more constructed play out.
14 points all, 13 minutes to go. So we're at the Devils' number, and I don't recall a draw in State of Origin football. I can't recall a draw in State of Origin football. This is Tierney now. Why haven't we seen Aaron Raper? Does anybody know? Hold the phone blocker! Hold everything! Queensland down to the 35-metre line. Goddard And now for Lamb. They punch back on the blind. Coyne is there. Coyne is upended. 25 metres away from the New South Wales line. Then away from Lamb into O'Davis, and then high for Aiken, and equally high for Smith. Now it's with O'Neill, and he'll be forced to play the ball. 19 metres away from the New South Wales line. Playing it back on the last tackle for Jason Smith, and he tries to, well, he actually couldn't get his kick in. He passed the ball, and O'Neill was left with the job. He couldn't get it away, and it's a disenchanted Queensland coach. Now, Steve Roach, Aaron Raper, what's the story there?
Yeah, well, Phil Gould was talking about the Queensland bench. The New South Wales side really restricted to only 2 replacements because of Jim Dimmick's injury at the moment, and there's only a place at hooker for him, and at the moment Jeff Tuvey's filling that role.
All right, well, this is Dean Payne, who takes it to the 40-metre line. Tuvey now starting to take the harness off, starting to run like he did late in the match at Suncorp. Simon. Fairly across the ground. Sears held by the back of the jumper. Fairly there to support a second time. McGregor, then McGuinness, and McGuinness is pulled down by Matt Singh. Last tackle again. 25 out. And Simon goes for the drop goal. It's wide, isn't it? He's got the hand up. He's given it.
He's got it.
David Manson said fair goal. 15 to 14, New South Wales in front as we go to a break.
New South Wales 2 through 15. Queensland 14.
69th minute, and John Simon dropping it over. I thought it was wide, but Manson had a much better angle on it. 15-14. 11 minutes. Queensland 1 point behind.
And John Simon, he hit a beautiful field goal because it was on a difficult side for the right footer. But I'm just wondering, at the other end of the field, whether the Jason Smith nothing play on their last tackle could be the most crucial one of the game. John Smith, a lovely drop goal exponent. Has he wrapped the series up for 97 for the New South Wales Blues?
Adam Muir, a short pass away for Dean Payne. Now they're 40 metres out, and here goes Tuvey again, and then away for Simon. Simon's pass along the ground, and that'll be a knock-on. So the scrum will pack. Loose head and feed for the Maroons.
Well, does he propel this towards the opponent's try line? I don't think so.
Well, it made the other two very much knock-ons if that was a knock-on. It'll be interesting to see New South Wales' attitude in this last 9 minutes. At 14 all, both sides are looking for a score to win the game. Now with New South Wales in front, it's only Queensland, and if New South Wales go a little negative and try and protect it, we've only got one team trying to score, and that could be interesting in the final moments.
Ben Aiken casting a boot as he takes the tackle. Lamb across, and Billy Moore is there like a faithful servant. I don't know that he's got enough power left in the legs to get him there, Billy Moore. He's made 27 tackles and 10 hit-ups, and every time his captain has called on him, he's been there. But I don't know if there's enough juice in the tank. Larson now pits it up, 21 metres away from the Blues line. New South Wales under 10 minutes away from wrapping up the Origin. Stuart Kelly put down by McGregor. 5 tackles gone. Now they're 12 metres out. Smith away for Lamb. Lamb's cross kick. Dallas is after it. He's come down with nothing. No, he's come down with the football.
6 again.
In fact, it's not Dallas, but there's 6 more. One of his teammates came down with the ball. It was Gary Larson. Now Mark Coyne was involved in that enormous finish at the football stadium some years ago. It's Julian O'Neill. Look out, here they come. Bartram. Bartram is 2 metres out from the line. Told to play the ball. Kelly gets it away. O'Neill pushes it on. Billy Moore is with it. Shovels it down for Craig Smith. He gets it back for Jason Smith. Then it is taken to ground, and they play the ball inside the 20-metre line. Robbie O'Davis. Then it's gone from Billy Moore. Back for Adrian Lamb. And the little fellow tries to duck under the tackles. On 5. The dummy half is Goddard. He's looking for O'Neill. No, it's Robbie O'Davis. He tries to level it up. And it's been touched in flight. So he's ordered the turnover to New South Wales.
I don't understand the play. I don't understand what 15-all does for you. It can't win you the series. New South Wales are the holders of the shield. And it's let New South Wales off light, I believe.
73rd minute has gone as Ainscough plays it.
A couple of big defensive tackles from Paul McGregor. Bartram looked as though he was going to score on this side of the field, but McGregor poleaxed him. As now New South Wales, no mistake stuff out of their own danger area. Dean Pay takes it to halfway. They'll look for John Simon very shortly to get it to the other end of the field.
Mark Carroll, 43 metres away from the line, and this is the last tackle coming now. Simon has gone over to the short side. Here he is operating there with a grubbing kick. It crosses the touchline about 27 metres away from the Queensland line.
Well, the clock is on their side, so it's not a bad tactic to put the ball out. Coming now into the last 6 minutes of this game. Queensland, they're going to have another opportunity. How far out that will be late in their tackle count remains to be seen. Smith leaves the field. It's a Craig variety.
Whichever way it goes, it's been a great contest. Look, oh, here they are trying to put Ben Ikin down the ground. Spreading the ball quickly. Now Matt Singh, then Julian O'Neill. Billy Moore back up the centre. And he's about 7 metres on his own side of the halfway as he plays it back for Goddard. And now for Tierney. And a short pass away. And playing the ball is Wayne Bartram. Now on the right, Lamb for Jason Smith, and he jinks and tries to bust them, but he's put away. Just into New South Wales area, trailing by a point, Queensland. Lamb into the hands of O'Neill. O'Neill floating it. Ben Ikin enjoying playing. Oh! McGregor has gone high on Matt Singh. And David Manson calling McGregor across. And the New South Wales trainers have been called in as well.
Well, I've got to say, I'm not thinking of the tackle here at the moment. I'm thinking of whether Queensland have got a kicker who can put them one in front from 38 metres out, 8 metres in from the sideline.
You can bet your bottom dollar that Julian O'Neill will have the confidence to do it.
Well, David Manson's helped him here. He's taken the play 10 metres in from touch. That tackle was right on the sideline. David Manson has now given Wayne Bartram, or is it Julian O'Neill, a chance. And Julian O'Neill is no stranger to last-minute wins through his boot from the sideline.
Matt Singh back on the inside. I was just praising the defence of Paul McGregor only moments ago. The wrong footing of Matt Singh. He was taken very high by the big centre. Queensland bench. Well, Chris Close, he wants New South Wales to finish with 12.
Yes, I think Chris was
Chris
remembering
Close.
that David Manson did send a player off last year.
Chris Close wanted him off. Fatty Vaughton was immediately looking for a kicker.
Well,
Oh, what about this?
it's probably fair to say that Julian O'Neill, of all players, has got State of Origin #2 and the series in his hands or on that right foot. There it goes. It's coming around. Has it got the length? No, it fell short. It fell short. The coach's face fell short at the same time. But can they get the ball back?
He was on target. He just didn't have the distance as McGuinness beats a tackle. 25 out. Sears now, the little men, the quick men, out of dummy half.
3.5 minutes to go. New South Wales in front by a point. Kosef near the halfway line. Tuvu running, as I said, in the latter part, the last 13 minutes. He's been running and running every time from dummy half. Simon's kick, in the overall scheme of things, wasn't such a brilliant one. Singh tackled on his own 30-metre line, giving the Queenslanders probably one more chance. 40 metres out from his own line, played by O'Davis. Now it's Tierney, and I make that the third tackle. He's had it taken off him. Well, their ball security has fallen apart in the second half.
I wouldn't be surprised, Ray, if Neil Tierney actually threw the football to his opponent there. There are a couple in the tackle. He was releasing the football, trying to pick up support on the outside.
Carroll storming back inside the 30-metre line. So the trophy looks pretty safe to be resident again in New South Wales.
Somehow, if John Simon at the end of this could get it into the in-goal area, in fact, he may not kick now, but if they could get it into the in-goal area and force a line drop out, it's all over.
This will level up the series count overall as Muir finds McGregor. He kicks ahead, and it finds the dead ball line. So out to the 20-metre line. They've got, on our timepiece, 1 3/4 minutes to go 80 metres. 1 point the difference in favour of the Blues. Jason Smith, Larson, and then they go back towards Brett Dallas's wing. Coy finds the red-headed North Sydney player, and Brett Dallas, 38 metres out from his own line. Jason Smith across. Julian O'Neill. Ben Ikin is taken out of it. McGregor's tackle and the ball comes loose. Manson orders a knock-on.
They've been courageous, Queensland, but really the New South Wales defence, when it's been most important, has come up with the big plays, forcing errors. They've been strong in the latter 30 minutes of this game. I really think this game changed when Adrian Lamb had to leave the field with his ankle injury. Queensland lost their momentum. New South Wales steadied the ship, and in the last 30 minutes have come up with a field goal to retain the trophy. But two great games, two great State of Origin games. 2 points the first one, 1 point the second one. And congratulations to all players and all coaches.
And we can rest assured that Queensland will be trying to put a big push on this. I think it was more the case when it was originally fed by Tuvey. This time, though, New South Wales safely with it. Tuvey still barking instructions, and fairly predictable they are. On the 40-metre line, played by Adam Muir. The siren has sounded. Sears takes it to ground, and the State of Origin, the Coca-Cola State of Origin for 1997, has been won by New South Wales 2-0. 8-6 at Suncorp and 15-14 at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It might not have been a big crowd by MCG standards, but they have seen a gripping game of rugby league. Tom Raudonikis on his way, and Paul Vaughton to greet their players. Tommy Raudonikis almost begged for the job, and has been for several years. And an emotion. Raudonikis is with his players now. One of the great rugby league number 7s of all time. A likeable rogue in the minds of most rugby league supporters. And he knocked on the door, he begged for the job, and he's come up with the 1997 trophy.
We are set now for Game 2 of the State of Origin series for 1997 here at the MCG, and a good crowd pouring in. They've come in late, and looks like they're going to really enjoy something very special here this evening. And to call all the action, the voice of rugby league, here is Ray Warren.
Ken, thank you very much, and good evening again, everybody. We're just waiting now for the players to come out of the dressing rooms, the New South Wales team in a huddle in their dressing room. And the Maroons just milling around and probably trying to stay as relaxed as they possibly can. Of course, it's all been documented This is do or die for Queensland. New South Wales have that little comfort zone of knowing that they can take this to Sydney to come up with a decision. It is match number 50. I suppose you could call it the golden anniversary of State of Origin football tonight. This is match number 50. Queensland 26, New South Wales 23.
And Ray, speaking of 50s or 50-somethings, happy birthday tonight. You surprised you. You look older, but we love you. 50-something, that'll do me. It is a golden anniversary all round.
You're a very kind
still
son.
there.
This is my third birthday in Melbourne in the last 4 years, and I don't feel as though I've gotten any older. But here's New South Wales now leading the Blues. Jeff Tuvey will lead the Blues for the second time tonight. And just a couple of changes to their lineup. Ken McGuinness taking the place of Rod Wishart, and Aaron Raper replacing Andrew Johns. Quite a long walk from the sheds that Trevor Gilmister was talking about earlier on. And now on to a ground that they will probably find quite greasy, dampened by the rains here in the southern capital. But the Blues are out there in front of a crowd that enlarged rather rapidly. It went from probably 15 to 20, 25 very, very quickly. Now the Maroons. Paul Vaughton expects to win and win comfortably. Brave words, but then what else could he say? Adrian Lamb. I think you'll find that he will be involved more often. Yes, he'll be involved more often and sooner tonight than in Origin 1. Would you stay with the Maroons? Where's Billy? Big night for them. Big night for everybody. The game on show again in Melbourne in a year that has been in more ways than one turbulent for this great game. Brett Dallas, runaway try on this ground in 95. And a big night, of course, for that young man, Stuart Kelly. Standing by for the national anthem. It will be performed tonight by Maria Mercedes. She's currently performing in Sunset Boulevard at Melbourne's Regent Theatre, and she's got the honour tonight, and here she is.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding for the Australian national anthem, performed this evening by Maria Mercedes, one of the stars of Sunset Boulevard.
Voice of Maria Mercedes. Crowd now settling back for what hopefully will be a tremendous battle. Quite in contrast to the size of the audience. Both sides there. to turn it on in the Coca-Cola State of Origin 2. David Manson, his 10th State of Origin, reinstated. New South Wales' home game. Queensland would get the choice of referee. They've gone for David, and he blows time on. So in front of the Melbourne crowd at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, State of Origin 2 is off and running, and Larson is the first to bring it back, playing in his 20th consecutive Origin match tonight. And now the Maroons, they go on the right of the ground for Jason Smith to be hit and put down by Menzies and Terry Hill jointly. The third tackle of the game, Lamb drifting across, and then a pulverising tackle coming from Nick Kosef and also from Adam Muir. Tierney in the run-on side is put down just inside his own 40-metre line, and Bartram in 14, a dummy half, using Smith. Commonly referred to as a small front rower, he tips the scales at 105 kilos as Bartram kicks from dummy half, and that will be an advantage of having him there early. Brasher comes away from inside his own 20-metre line. He's put down by the Maroons, 3 of them in all. One of them was the kicker, another was Coyne, and another New South Welshman is driven back in the defence of Robbie O'Davis that time.
And 2 great tackles from Robbie O'Davis. First one on Tim Brasher with the chase. A penalty now going to the New South Wales team. In fact, might be a forward pass here from Tuvey to Nick Kosef.
You'll find that it's a loose head and feed for the Maroons, Pete. David Manson's signal might have given the impression it was a penalty, but he was indicating the ball was propelled forward. The Maroons win the scrum as expected, and then it goes across from Aiken, and then through O'Davis. It goes loose, so Queensland with a little bit of stage fright in the opening exchange, as was the case with New South Wales. And it's Carroll now who takes it ahead on the short side to the 30-metre line. Tuvey a dummy half, a penalty, the first of the game, goes to New South Wales against the Queenslanders being inside the 10. So John Simon playing at half-back in 16. Packing into the scrum, of course, but he will be at first receiver. Tuvey playing at dummy half as Carroll is sent 35 metres away from the Maroons line. A good opportunity for the Blues on the second tackle and their first sight of enemy territory. They go away through Kosef, wide for McGregor, who put the ball over the stripe in the first one. He goes inside the 20, put down 15 away from the Queensland line. For Dimmick then to throw the dummy and then give it for Tuvey on the second occasion. Misunderstanding there. McGregor flick passes. New South Wales are over. McGuinness has gone in on the far side of the ground. It was all too simple. Ken McGuinness has gone over to score in his second Origin match.
Yes, and you'll find that it was young Stuart Kelly who's had an unfortunate start to this game who was at fault. They come one side, go back the other. And as we freeze play there, you can see that this man here, Stuart Kelly, stays out of the line as play continues. He hangs back, and that opened up an overlap. Finally, he has to come in. But Ken McGuinness, coming back on the inside, took advantage. He'd just been poleaxed in trying to make a tackle on Paul McGregor before that, dropped in behind the line. By the time he came up, the damage had been done. And the elusiveness of both McGregor and Ken McGuinness took advantage of the situation perfectly.
Quite incredible, the New South Wales bench, that was their reaction. But quite incredible, because I'm sure there was a misunderstanding between Dimmick and Tuvey. So the impact of what was about to happen had been lost. But Kelly was fielding in the deep. And now John Simon from 22 metres out. Well, what a start for the Blues. They had not been in Queensland's territory, and the first time they visited, they've come away with the 4 points. So Simon is offline. We've got points early in Origin 2, 4-0 New South Wales. So back towards halfway with a try registered by Ken McGuinness. In his first run-on Origin match, he came on as a replacement at Suncorp in Origin 1. Great thrill for him, the young Western Suburbs utility back. that kick-off from Bartram gets us going again, and it's Brasher who's put down 15 metres away from the New South Wales line. And if you remember correctly, that didn't take them long to come from this end of the park to the other and to post those points. This is Jamie Ainscough, dangerously close to the sideline, and in the tackle he's tried to throw it, and you'll find that the Maroons will get the feed and the loose head. Ainscough is mystified. Dallas showed him the sideline. Coyne came in, and jointly they disposed of Jamie Ainscough, who unloads the ball. In fact, it probably was knocked out by the impact of the Queenslanders' knee. But now it's O'Davis into his back line. Early minutes of State of Origin 2, and New South Wales by 4 points to 0. As Kelly, a dummy half, gave it to Moore. Moore inside to Smith, and a penalty against the Blues. Up inside the 10, and with Bartram on the park, they will more than likely take the kick from fairly close range. It's at a rather acute angle, but pretty close to the uprights, as you can see. Adrian having no hesitation in telling Bartram to kick. This was the offside. And Manson, the arm went straight up.
There are plenty of players offside there for the Blues. In fact, Paul Harrigan was probably the worst offender. But we did see at the other end of the field what Steve Roach was talking about before the match, the second phase play, the ability of the front rowers to offload to support players. He did that very, very well in the lead up to the first try. And Paul Vaughton will be hoping that he will see the same from the likes of Neil Tierney and Craig Smith in the opening 10 or 15 minutes of this match.
David Fairley on the bench there with his North Sydney teammate Matt Sears, and then Aaron Raper with a new coloured hair tonight.
A bit mystified, Ray, by the headband as well. I think it's going to get in his eyes.
The Great Southern Stand as the backdrop as we look across to Wayne Bartram. No stranger to the Melbourne Cricket Ground. So here he is. Can he reduce this leeway? He's pushed it across the face, but they've done well. The chase on the kick from Coyne in particular was good. So they'll get the football back.
Well, he's pushed that one so badly, I'm not quite sure whether it was a planned move, as an attacking raid for his outside chases. I don't think that was the case, but he missed by a long way.
John Simon's dropout, 45 metres. O'Davis sending Larson back, and Larson is met by Carroll. Put down 31 away from the Blues line then. Bartram into the hands of Tierney, then for Smith, his front row partner, working as a pair. And they're 25 metres away from the New South Wales line as they come around with a second man play. Lamb and another second man play, and then Moore. The pass goes to ground. Didn't really get a clean shot on it. It was Mark Coyne. And the Blues come away from just outside their own 20-metre line, and Carroll is picked up, and they use his own momentum to drive him into the ground through Smith. Back on the left for Koseff. Koseff trying to fend away from Jason Smith. And he will play it now. 35 out from his own line. 4-0 in favour of New South Wales, with Menzies reaching the 40-metre line. Tuvey looking on his right. Simon is on that side of the ground. He's gone across to the Parramatta utility player for the kick, and it's taken on the full and on the gallop by Robbie O'Davis, who's put down about 5 metres on his own side of the halfway mark. He's playing it back then. And this is Matt Singh without the headgear, who's crossed into New South Wales territory as Queenslanders spread it now through the hands of the back rowers. Moore, and it's with Smith, and Jason will play the ball. In the run-on side tonight, Jason Smith following a couple of good performances, particularly last weekend for Parramatta. Now, away from the dummy half, and Larson's played the ball, and Lamb was there with Aiken looking for an opening, but it's been shut down by Jim Dimmick. Just outside the 20-metre line, New South Wales end of the park. Lamb off the right foot, high and across, looking for the jump, and the Blues come down with it. But I'll tell you what, he only just had hold of it, Jamie Ainscough.
That was all it took. It is a great take from Ainscough. So often the players, in trying to defuse these bombs, wait for the ball to come down. You'll see Ainscough actually goes up Australian rules fashion above his head. Did a great job, under a lot of pressure there from Coyne.
Jamie Ainscough claiming the mark as the Blues come away from the 30-metre line. There's a problem here. Jason Smith is unable to get back on his feet. Now Bartram has been told to keep them down, and Manson gives the penalty to the Blues, but Jason Smith is being assisted as Bartram gets back into the defence line. This is what happened to Jason. Looks like he's caught the elbow of Harrigan as he went in to make the tackle. Carroll now steers the Blues towards the 40-metre line. Tuvey appealing for a quicker play of the ball or a penalty.
Smith's off. Goddard has come into the game.
Goddard will go in to dummy half, and that will turn Bartram into a running forward. This is Muir as the Blues look for their second try. 35 metres out from the line, down the short side with Kosef. Shows it to McGregor, thinks about putting it back on the inside, but the defence is too good. Tuvey then away to the left, Simon with it. The run around is on with Dimmick. Then he steps a couple of more metres down the ground, and Simon will play it 25 metres away from the Queensland line from Menzies. For Dimmick, and Dimmick to the air. It didn't have a lot of forward momentum, and Queensland come down through that spectacular take of Robbie O'Davis. Now it's Billy Moore on his own 20-metre line. Phil Gould joining us in commentary tonight.
Yeah, the most interesting thing for me is the way that New South Wales have really condensed their defence since game one. And that could be a little bit of experience because of the moisture here in Melbourne they expected. But they're virtually daring Queensland to go wide. And as we've seen, they've come up with a couple of mistakes early, trying to pass the greasy ball.
This is Smith inside his own 30-metre line. Tierney grits the teeth and charges into the New South Wales forwards of Harrigan, Muir and Tuvey. And then away on the left of the ground for Lamb to show it once, and they've tracked them. Moore is into open space. Oh, pressure comes across with a beauty.
Oh, but they've bombed it. Two unmarked men on the inside, led by Stuart Kelly. I don't know if he got the call, Billy Moore, but he lost them.
Lamb then puts it out wide. Larson tries to get a desperation pass away. The Blues come up with it through Terry Hill. 7 metres out from their own line.
A marvellous ball from Adrian Lamb to put Billy Moore into the clear. He opens the hole up for him, but have a look at the two outside players. They both come back inside. He looks to the left, and they've gone, disappeared.
So the communication breakdown for Queensland. As Carroll plays it and Tuvey passes it. Dimmick is with it as he crosses the 30. He picks up McGregor, and McGregor will be made to play the ball on the 40-metre line, his own end of the park. To the left of the ground for Adam Muir. Then flicks it out the back, and John Simon got it in before it hit the ground. McGregor working down a narrow corridor. The ball was knocked down, and over the sideline, he might rule that this came off Queensland.
He probably will, yes, he has. He's ruling a scrum feed here to New South Wales. And already Queensland are exposing weakness down the left-hand side of the field in their defence. McGregor had a big game in game one with Jim Dimmick down this side. And there's no doubt that New South Wales have targeted the Queensland left-hand defence to be playing their football. They've come up with one try and a couple of half breaks already.
So Tuvey it is that steers the New South Wales attack onto the left of the ground. Dimmick is almost through, taking it to ground in one hand. Terry Hill came just a little bit too late. Kosef then, they angle through Ainscough and pass along the ground again for Simon. Now with McGregor, who's on the 30-metre line and put down, with Adrian Lamb coming over the top of Ben Ikin's tackle. Now Carroll joins in, and a front-on tackle required from Goddard to slow him down, enough for Smith to secure that tackle. Simon drifting across, picking up Harrigan, and Harrigan is put away on the 20-metre line. 4 points to nil in favour of the Blues. Is another try coming? Tuvey is inside the 10-metre line. This is the last tackle. Simon's a dummy half. In there is Jim Dimmick. He puts in a little kick, but Robbie O'Davis is there. They force him back into the in goal. It'll be a line dropout.
They're copping something of a hammering at the moment, Queensland. Paul Vorton said that he may keep Julian O'Neill out as long as 20 minutes. I think he's needed out there now. O'Davis, he did get back into the field of play, but by being upright, it was an easier task for Ainscough and company to take him back into the in-goal area.
Trevor Gilmister, the story on Jason Smith.
Well, mate, he's got a slight concussion, but they expect him to be back shortly. Mate, I think Queensland are better off trying to keep the game simple at this stage, get themselves into the game and you know, get a couple of sets of 6 down their end.
Wayne Bartram will send it back down towards the New South Wales players, where McGuinness, who scored the try, 15 metres back into Queensland territory. Ken McGuinness playing it back for Tuvey, who goes away from dummy half. His running in the second half at Suncorp was something that worried Paul Wharton. 30-metre line underneath them as they go across it now. Carroll charging up the centre, his head hitting the ground quite heavily, just outside the 20. Tuvey scooping it, Simon giving it. Mewett puts it back for Simon, then for Dimmick, and Dimmick has put down a good tackle around the legs by Ben Ikin. On the right of the ground, Harrigan joins in, puts the fend on, but dragging around the legs was Mark Coyne. He scampers back into his defensive position. Simon puts the kick up as they go for it, and Queensland come down with it again. And it's Matt Singh over on the left wing who did well.
Yeah, good on you, Matty Singh. He was worried all week about playing on the wing. It's not his favourite position, and probably that was the thing that was concerning him, the high ball. But he does well here. Tim Brasher and Ken McGuinness, they're no slouches in getting up for the high one, and Matty Singh has diffused a dangerous situation.
Queensland with Larson just beyond the 20-metre line. Most of the activity down Queensland's end of the ground. And it's Moore who made the bust off a good pass from Lamb on the 30-metre line for Goddard to go away, for Ikin to put that kick in. Quite a big one too, bouncing well over the head of Brasher, who's 15 metres out from his own line, coming back down the right-hand touchline. That's in front of the Great Southern stand.
Late kick from Ben Ikin was better than any we saw in the whole first State of Origin match. He didn't worry about trying to do anything fancy but pick up metres. Good torpedo, 50 on the fly.
Muir's been taken high. Penalty goes to New South Wales. The offender is Smith. Craig Smith, spoken to by David Manson over this tackle on Adam Muir, and he was draped around the Adams apple. McGuinness a try. Simon failed to convert. And then a penalty shot from Bartram was offline. An open game of football starting to develop, Steve Roach.
Yeah, well, there was a little bit of a complaint in the first game that Terry Hill and McGregor weren't seeing enough of the football, but they are tonight. This has really opened up this one, and both sides really trying to spread the ball early in the tackle count.
Harrigan then charging up the centre, reaching the 20-metre line, and they set up another attacking raid. Queensland have really been under some pressure. Tuvey goes to the blind side looking for Menzies, and in attack a relatively quiet one from him in Brisbane. Now they come away. Simon with the long ball. Dimmick is there, and that's David Fairley who's on for New South Wales, reaching the 10-metre line, playing it back then for Terry Hill, a dummy half. Simon pushing it away out there to his lock forward, then for McGregor. McGregor tries to get it back in. McGuinness was there, so was Brasher and Menzies, and Menzies is put away on tackle number 5. Simon's in position for the kick. Here he goes with the right foot across. The depth is okay, but underneath it is O'Davis, and it'll go back to the 20 for the tap restart.
Yeah, just get the feeling that Paul McGregor's starting to lick his chops out there with the prospect that he's got Stuart Kelly and Matt Singh opposite him, both very short players, and because McGregor's so tall and so good with the ball, he thinks he can take them on and get the ball away at will.
Tierney with a one-hander out for O'Davis, and then across for Mark Coyne, and that's a good run by the Queenslanders. They're down 42 metres out from the Blues line, as Lamb has to leap in the air to take the pass from dummy half. Waits it nicely. Brasher's there. Dallas coming down the ground. He beats him. He beats Lamb. He beats another. He gets it away to Ainsko. Ainsko angling across the park. It's in the hands of Kosev. Kosev tries to go through a gap, and he's pulled down 35 away from his own line.
Exciting football from both teams. Adrian Lamb deliberately kicking for Brett Dallas. What a marvellous run there from Tim Brasher to beat a couple and then still find support. Ken McGuinness heads in field. Tackle 44 out from his own line. Fairly on for Muir. Clinton O'Brien for Craig Smith.
Harrigan ramrodding for New South Wales, giving them a nice foundation. Here's Carroll supporting Harrigan in everything he does, and now they take it down to the Queensland 40-metre line. Kosef was the pivot, Simon was the runner, Menzies has finished up with it on tackle number 5. They're 30 metres away from the Queensland line. They're leading by 4-0, the Blues, looking to wrap up the Coca-Cola State of Origin right here tonight, and Dallas took that in the field of play. So back he comes, he runs around them, brings it out to the 20-metre line, a good run. Now he's lost it. It's going to be a loose head and feed for the Blues, and this is 20 metres out from the Queensland line.
Yeah, the call coming from the touch judge there, it was on the other side of the referee. It was all class, Brett Dallas, what he did up to the tackle. You just wonder where, oh, there's definitely a hand in there from David Fairley. It should have been a penalty. Julian O'Neill now on for the Maroons.
So Terry Hill stepping off his left foot, tries to angle back. Centre of the park, 22 metres out. And Dean Pay is also on. So Fairley and Pay both out there now for New South Wales. As it goes to Simon, he cuts out Fairley, picks up Dimmick, gives it inside for Menzies. Menzies, very keenly spotted by Queensland. Of course, there's no secret of the fact that Paul Vaughton admires him more than any other attacking footballer in the forwards. Fairley then, putting New South Wales in a very strong position. They'll do well to hold them out, Queensland. Tuvey away for Kosef to go in. Kosef is over the line. The Blues are in again, and they lead 8 points to 0.
Quarter of the game is gone, and looking at the tackle counts, Queensland have been made to do twice as many tackles as their opponents, and eventually it's going to tell, and that will be on the scoreboard. Nick Kosef just getting on the outside there of some tired forwards. This all came about, of course, from Brett Dallas losing the football first tackle. Kosef getting outside Billy Moore. Moore went in, had to come back, couldn't recover in time, and the big fend from Kosef was a good one, but this had been coming for a couple of minutes. So much possession and pressure for the Blues.
Queensland defence really tested there. The respect that they have for Jeff Tuvey's dummy half running game, I mean, he's probably established himself, whilst he's a halfback in his own club, as the best dummy half runner in the game. And you saw that 3 Queensland players there on their own line really angled themselves in towards him, and that allowed him to get the ball on to Nick Kosef, wrong-footed the defence and slide over for a nice try. But Jeff Tuvey's dummy half running, even in the first 20 minutes, certainly has Queensland guessing around the rucks. And that time they just overread the situation. They paid him too much respect.
It's quite amazing, that tackle count. 75 tackles made by Queensland, a mere 36 by New South Wales.
So John Simon will attempt a conversion, and successful the first time. This time he hits it much better, and it's straight between the uprights. We'll go to a break with the Blues over the Maroons 10-0. Simon with success on his second attempt as we go back to the restart off the boot of Ben Ikin. Rolling it down for Dimmick. Carroll bringing it away from his own 20-metre line on the second since the restart. And Tuvey then goes over for Fairley and then for Pay. And Pay is just outside the 30-metre line. State of Origin 2 from the Melbourne Cricket Ground on the 9 network right across Australia. And going into several overseas countries as well. Kosef, who scored the try, is playing in only his second State of Origin match, as was Ken McGuinness. So it's been the night when the youngsters are reigning supreme. Matt Singh is put down, but they're offside New South Wales, just to clarify, and Queensland will find the line. Julian O'Neill doing plenty of talking since he's been out there.
Comes a game of contrast now for both sides. Queensland cannot afford New South Wales to be the next scorer. They also have to be patient. As Trevor Gilmeister said, they really haven't settled into this game at all. They've just got to be happy to play some field position, wait for the points, not try and force them. For New South Wales, 10 in front on the scoreboard, everything's just methodical for them. They can enjoy their football for a while.
This is Goddard. just outside the Blues 30-metre line, and now Tierney takes it up and is met by his Manly teammate Jeff Tuvey. Kosef coming in with Fairley to make the tackle, and then from Goddard for Lamb to switch it, and they go to Eichen. Eichen puts on a sprint. He tries to get away from Fairley, got a pass away, miraculous effort as they take it now just inside the 20-metre line. That is Julian O'Neill playing in 17 jumper, playing it back for Goddard, then for Lamb. Lamb coming across the park, looking for Moore. The combination to put them through the gap earlier on tonight. Now it's with Goddard. Goddard with a stop and a start, and then he takes it to within 15 metres of the line. He'll play it on the 5th tackle. Away it goes now for Lamb to put it high and across and then be battered down, but McGuinness finished up with it for New South Wales on his own 10-metre line.
It's going to be hard as an attacking option to get Matt Singh up over the top of Ken McGuinness and Paul McGregor on that type of kick. We saw Queensland score a try in an Origin a couple of years ago off grubber kicking on this dewy surface. Tim Brasher spilled the ball, and I think that's probably a little bit of a better play tonight. It's going to be hard to catch these bombs and score tries.
Jeremy Schloss is also on, so both the Gold Coast boys are out there at the moment. And the Tuvey it is with a darting run that sees him able to unload. And supporting was Pay, so was Terry Hill. He's the ball carrier, Terry Hill, and he's put down 40 metres away from the Queensland line. 5 gone. Simon is there. They put it through the hands for Dimmick. Dimmick holding it back, draws the defence in. McGregor's with it. McGregor to McGuinness. McGuinness gets it inside for Dimmick. Dimmick's over. Try number 3. The Blues are ripping them apart at the MCG.
Beautiful attacking play there by New South Wales on the last tackle. I do think it was a defensive mistake on the outside by the Queensland winger to come in. Jim Dimmick here, good vision. Picks up McGregor with the long pass. And as we freeze it there, you can see that Matty Singh, he makes the decision to come in on McGregor. I thought that maybe McGregor may have been covered on the inside, but Singh decides to come in. It was one of those options. Julian O'Neill, he got a little bit of a checkered passage, and Jim Dimmick, who really instigated the try with the long cutout pass, did well to stay alive and be there to take the pass back on the inside. The last tackle indeed signalled. They busted them on the other side. Dimmick onto McGregor. He's just having a wow of a game, McGregor. Matty Singh comes in to make the tackle. Julian O'Neill, he just got clipped in running. That stopped him from being able to get across and cover. And Dimmick celebrates along with Tim Brasher. And now it's a real mountain for Queensland to climb.
Well, it certainly is. It might not be an impossibility, but you'd rather be rolling down the other side, wouldn't you? Jim Dimmick, he methodically put that try together and then finished it off.
Might be a bit harsh there on Matt Singh. It's one of those decisions to come in or to stay. I just think by coming in, John Simon unsuccessful with the kick, he just made it a little bit harder for the support players to get across.
This was the try. Watch the part that Dimmick plays. He holds on, and he commits defence men. And then he's back on the inside, waving to McGuinness, and puts it over the line.
Well, as we said earlier in the game, I think Jim Dimmick and John Simon are going to go home with Paul McGregor's voice well entrenched in their right ear there, because he's just desperate for the football. Every time he gets it, he looks dangerous down Queensland's left-hand defence.
So David Fairley, and then Harrigan, and now it's Adam Muir standing. The ball might have been knocked down by Queensland. Referee Manson says play on. That gives the Maroons a chance, and they take it inside the 20-metre line. Be interesting to see that. I've just got that feeling that it might have been knocked down by the Queensland side, but Manson got a clear call, I think, from his touch judge. It's with Tierney and then Eichen. They string a few passes together, and Larson is underneath that tackle on the far side, and it's a penalty to Queensland.
2 players involved in the tackle. Paul McGregor stripped the football. So the best chance we've seen in the game for Queensland, a couple of sets of 6 at this end of the field.
This is Clinton O'Brien. There's the ball back there for Goddard. Goddard is within a couple of metres of the line, and there's probably not a more appropriate moment to strike back than now. Lamb goes back for Billy Moore again, and that's the 3rd time he's gone looking for Billy Moore. Now away from Coyne for Lamb, then for O'Davis. O'Davis can't free himself from the tackle, but he gets the ball away. Goddard is put down 3 metres out from the New South Wales line. as it's played back for Tierney with the head down, looking to do it himself and forced to play the ball, held by Big Harrigan and by Menzies. Lamb then again, Aiken across for Moore. Here's Dallas. Oh, he only had to catch it and put it down.
Well, in Brett Dallas's defence, I think he thought that the pass wasn't going to come all the way to him. I think he was looking for Billy Moore to find the man just inside him. It was a good move, spreading the ball. I think Brett Dallas thought that they were going to go through the hands, and it took him by surprise. Coyne was cut out. But again, as we've seen in the first 30 minutes of this game, it's just all coming apart for Queensland at this end of the field.
The big thing about it, Peter, as we said earlier, is that New South Wales are really condensing up in defence and making Queensland push the ball wide. They had great success when Billy Moore came hard and straight onto a pass, but when they throw the ball wide like that, New South Wales have always got them covered, and it's very hard to catch them past that Dewey ball. I really think the Queensland need to change their game a little bit and come back on the inside more.
So it's Adam Muir, who's put away on his own 20-metre line. New South Wales with a commanding lead early. 14 points to 0, and almost 31 minutes of the State of Origin match from Melbourne gone. This is Menzies, and played back for Tuvey. Then for Simon, and the kick, and straight down the ground goes Simon. O'Davis. Incredible, really, how many times the little fella finds himself underneath it. I suppose that's good fullback play, but he's always there with very little territory to cover. Singh is on the halfway line. This is Goddard out and away for Clinton O'Brien. And O'Brien makes up a representation of all Optus Cup representative, all sides represented here tonight. And Dallas scampers into dummy half. They decide to come down the blind side. Smith has to give it back. Dallas has to push it away. And then on the second bounce, it's back for O'Davis. He runs away from the 40-metre line, puts the kick in. McGuinness has to go back, and McGuinness has been very safe out there on the right wing tonight. Not only that, he's making a good run back outside the 20. 14-0 as Carroll gets his next touch of the game. That is his 10th hit up in the match, as Jamie Ainscough goes looking for possession and then offloads for Terry Hill, who's met by Jason Smith it is. Jason appearing okay again after being concussed early in the game. Adam Muir met by Smith and held there by Jason Smith over the top of Craig, and now it's with Harrigan and an offload. Muir comes to the 40-metre line looking to get it away. It's down there for Queensland to take and not held in the tackle. Mark Coyne runs, and Billy Moore had it, then it hit him on the head, then he got it back in again. And Moore will play it 39 metres out from the New South Wales line. Played back for Ben Aiken. Now it's O'Davis, who seems to be handling the ball a lot tonight from fullback. Living up on the back line. Played back for Goddard. And this is Sloss. Wrestled down by the New South Wales back rower Nick Kossev, who picked up one of the 3 tries. Lamb pushing it away. Aiken to the 20-metre line. And then number 17 is Julian O'Neill, back for Matt Singh, and Singh is tackled, but another penalty. A penalty to Queensland. And taken by Ben Aiken. Then it's a cross from Goddard, and this is O'Davis, and here's this long pass on the bounce for Brett Dallas, and Dallas is banged down. He's a metre out from the line, and Mark Coyne trying to push away the Blues players as they go on the left of the ground. Smith, and then for Lamb, away then for Aiken. Billy Moore out very wide. Then Matt Singh comes back in and puts it over the line. There's the first try for the Queenslanders. The start of the resurgence. 33rd minute and 14-4.
To be any chance in this game, they had to score before half-time. And they did it well going wide. Just have a look at the angle of the try scorer. As we freeze it there, you can see McGuinness is going across. He's expecting the man to stay on the outside, but all of a sudden, as play continues, Matt Singh surprises him by coming straight. And straight into the hole. He was well covered, but his opposite man overread the situation. Billy Moore has been very, very dangerous out wide. Ben Ikin. They started to play a little bit straighter, and that pass was there. McGuinness, well, his man was gone by the time he'd reacted.
Well, that's exactly the line you want to run. Matty Singh knows this line. He realises they've been sliding across and swallowing them up, but he comes hard and straight back against the sliding defence. And he's only running at arms there, and with the strength and speed, he's able to force his way through. And that and the Billy Moore break earlier in the game were both off the same angle run and should be a wake-up to Queensland. But that's the angle they have to attack this New South Wales defensive line. Not long passes to get around it, but come back hard against the slide.
Just on Matt Singh, Phil, we've grown accustomed to him in the headgear. Missing tonight is some good news that we need to know about.
No, there was never any reason for it. I think he just wore it for the sake of wearing it.
Julian O'Neill then hooking it away, and no addition to the Queensland score. 14-4 then.
I'm just wondering whether Matt Singh could have brought the ball around closer. He runs the try in, and as he goes through McGuinness, he does have a little bit of a look around, but it did take a while for any New South Wales covered defender to appear. I thought that he might have been able to gobble up a few more metres.
And looking at the conversion attempt, it would have been most advantageous. The conversion attempt from O'Neill, unsuccessful. But it has got the Queenslanders on the board, and that's what they needed to do more than anything. 14-4. The restart sees Coyne putting Craig Smith back to the 30-metre line. Half-time is just under 4 minutes away. And this is Clinton O'Brien reaching the 40-metre line with Kosef over the top of Carroll. Then from Goddard for Lamb. And on the left of the ground, Jason Smith. And then put down by Ben Ikin. And referee David Manson will rule a knock-on took place. And New South Wales will get an opportunity just in front of half-time.
It was a nice reply by Matt Singh over on the left-hand side there for the try. They've been given an awful time by Paul McGregor and Ken McGuinness, so he'll just tick that one as one to get back at them. And Queensland changing their arms straight away. Important set of 6 in defence here. They don't want to concede one before half-time and destroy the advantage they got of that try. They've got the ball. That's a beauty.
Robbie O'Davis has got himself between Jim Dimmick and Tim Brasher, and that is very important possession with the ball played by Jeremy Sloss.
He's in rare form, isn't he, Robbie O'Davis? It was an Australian side pick tonight. Both he and Brasher would have to be in it. Queensland now getting some momentum.
Sloss is tackled. He's about 28 metres away from the New South Wales line, and half-time a couple of minutes away for Clinton O'Brien to get a one-hander out the back. Good work by him. Goddard's pass has gone on through 2 sets of hands for Adrian Lamb. The ball comes loose. They still go for it. That's Ben Ikin. He's 2 metres out from the line.
Numbers to the right.
Jason Smith then. Away on the right. It's with Lamb. Lamb comes across and he puts O'Davis over. O'Davis is over. Queensland are in for another. 14 points to 8.
They'll never write them off. And Adrian Lamb, once he starts running to the line and drawing defenders, anything can happen. New South Wales starting to get a little bit carefree with some passing. We saw a quick pass from Adam Muir earlier. Jim Dimmick just trying to offload too much. Adrian Lamb, he runs across. He opens the gap up, and again, it was the angle of the run from Robbie O'Davis. Terry Hill desperately wanted to stay out. The number 4 jersey, there he is. He wants to stay out on his man. And again, as was the case with McGuinness on the other side, he's pointing for the players on the inside to come up with the tackle on O'Davis. It was big man on little man. Paul Harrigan couldn't hang on to O'Davis. And all of a sudden, we've got a ball game.
With Adrian Lamb, just to show his face when he delivers that ball.
Well, nobody deserved to try more than Robbie O'Davis. Look at this diminutive Newcastle, Queensland fullback. And I'm just looking at some of the stats here to find out how many times he's had the ball in his hands. It must be certainly up near double figures. As Julian O'Neill looking for the extras and gets them. A further 2 points to Queensland and 14 points to 10. This was the try on another camera from behind that dead ball line.
For all the kids watching at home, if you want to be a ball player, that's exactly the way to do it. Hold the ball out in 2 hands. Straight away, you put the defence back on their heels, and that will open up holes. And there's not too many better players in the game than Adrian Lamb able to do that.
He knew exactly what he was doing. 40 seconds left on the clock. Who do you think is going to have their heads off and trot off into the dressing room pumped up? Queensland have come back at exactly the right time. And again, you can't deny them.
What is it, Trevor? I mean, the ability to get off the floor and come back. It's just incredible.
Well, we love you blokes bagging us. That's what it's all about. But Queensland had plenty of field position, and finally, you know, they've decided to hang on the ball for a little while. Then they went wide and obviously scored. But sometimes when they go wide too early, they get themselves into trouble.
So Ben Ikin has put that ball down into vacant space. It stays there before Brasher arrives. Coyne came from an onside position, apparently, and there's the halftime siren in the background. So we're going to halftime with a ball game back on the menu. It was looking bleak, wasn't it, for Queensland? New South Wales led 14 points to 0, and Queensland, in the last 7 minutes coming up to the break, are back to 14 to 10. The Melbourne Cricket Ground around Australia will be back as Ken and Peter look at the first half in retrospect on the other side of this.